Hey guys, this is Kendall, and it's time for another collection update. Well, gaming pickups video, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of a small stack this time around, and this is probably going to be the last one for the year because I'm trying to save up for a new TV. I'd really like to get a nice 4K HDR TV by the end of the year, and in order to do that, I kind of have to cut back on my game spending, which is pretty good because pretty much all the big releases for the year have come out already. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? First up, we have Shadow of War, Middle Earth Shadow of War, the sequel to Shadow of Mordor. I really debated on picking this up at first because there was this big hoopla shortly after it was announced that one of the main developers had died, and the development team wanted to do this really nice tribute by making a tribute character as part of DLC, and then WB, the publishers for the game, decided, you know what, we're going to charge for this, and the proceeds will go to the family. So that's all good. But then there was fine print that only the people who bought that DLC in the U.S. only their funds would actually go to the family, and it ended up being this huge controversy, and they ended up walking back, so the DLC was free. So I ended up picking it up because it became free and so on, and I also debated on whether to get this on Xbox One or PC because I have Shadow of Mordor for both Xbox One and PC, and I most recently played it on PC, and you can import your Nemesis from the previous game. So I was kind of iffy on which one to get it, but I ended up erring on the side of, you know what, let's get it on disc because then I can actually save a little bit of money picking it up at Best Buy and so on. So I got it. It was fun. It was a good game. Well, it was a decent game. There were a couple of things that I didn't really like about it. For one thing, is this was kind of the year of loot boxes, and there are a lot of loot boxes in this, and the game is kind of balanced towards needing to get loot boxes. You don't necessarily need them. You can play through the game without, but you're going to end up doing a lot of grinding, which is what I did. And especially in the last act of the game is really grind heavy because you have 10 chapters of doing continuous fortress assaults and conquests and so on and defenses, and that's really it. And it's just on and on and on. It goes on way too long, and it's really just a huge grind. But that's not the only Xbox One game I got. Next up was of the games that were on the big day in October. I got Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, which is the sequel to The New Order from 2014, I believe it was when it came out. It's an alright sequel. It doesn't really do anything better than the first one or new, really. But it's an alright. The story is a bit out there. It's like way weirder than the first one was, which, considering you had Nazis on the moon and these huge high tech and everything, and it was just really weird. And this one is kind of weird as well. There are a couple standout moments in my eyes, mostly walking down just a regular street in Roswell, New Mexico, and you're seeing Nazi stuff all over the place, and people just randomly walking around in KKK robes and so on. It's just kind of surreal to me, but it was all right. It was an all right game. And again, I got this on Xbox despite the fact that it's a shooter, and you kind of want to play shooters on PC when you have a strong PC. Um, I had the first one on Xbox, and the reason for that was because my PC at the time had taken a dump, just the same as with Shadow of Mordor, and I have not yet gotten the PC version. So next up is another game from that big day in October, Super Mario Odyssey. Now, this one I enjoyed a hell of a lot more than Wolfenstein. This was a lot of fun. I wasn't one of those people who played it significantly after the credits rolled. It's kind of just not really my thing for the most part. Once the credits roll, I kind of move on to the next game because I have so many games to get through. But it was a lot of fun. A really standout game for the Switch. If you didn't think the Switch was worth buying when it came out, because all that was really well in it was Zelda, I mean, it really is worth buying now. I mean, you have Mario, you have Zelda, you have Splatoon, you have Mario Kart, just a lot of really good games. And the last of the major games that came out in October was, of course, Assassin's Creed Origins. Of course, I'm going to get this. I love Assassin's Creed. And they took a year off last year to put out a movie and kind of rethink the formula a bit. And so it's a little bit different than Assassin's Creed games have been in the past, where now it plays much more kind of as a hybrid between The Witcher, Dark Souls, and Horizon Zero Dawn. And in that, I mean, you have kind of the Witcher's open world style of exploration and so on. You have Dark Souls style of combat. It's not as difficult as Dark Souls, but it's still kind of, you got a shield on one hand, a sword or something else on the other, and each button controls one of those and so on. And then from Horizon Zero Dawn, I think is more. I'm completely blanking now on why I was thinking Horizon Zero Dawn was a good comparison. I don't remember why. But still, it was a lot of fun, huge open world to explore and so on. It's really good going through, not necessarily ancient Egypt, more like classical Egypt, Hellenistic Egypt. Because when you think ancient Egypt, you think Old Kingdom, New Kingdom, you think when the pyramids are first being built and so on. And the pyramids are already like 3,000 years old when this game takes place. It takes place in about 45 to 50 BC. Yeah, 50 to 45 BC, which is kind of the height of, not necessarily the height of the Roman Empire, but kind of the start of the Roman Empire, the end of the Roman Republic, a height of Hellenistic Greece, and so on like that. Major players major historical figures in the game include Cleopatra, her brother Ptolemy, Julius Caesar and Brutus make an appearance and so on and stuff like that. So it's really kind of interesting. A couple other things to mention about this game. They also finally brought back a new modern day protagonist, which is really good because the modern day story had been really lacking in the last couple of games, and to the fact that it was pretty much almost non-existent. However, they do seem to have dropped the overarching like Phoenix Project narrative that was in the last few games from Black Flag, Unity, and Syndicate. It doesn't really make an appearance in here. The movie is considered canon, though. There are definitely nods to the movie in here. But the story itself was kind of lackluster. It didn't really shine as the gameplay did. So that's kind of that. That is it for the physical games. I did get a couple more digital games that I haven't had a chance to play yet. I got both of the South Park games, The Stick of Truth and The Fractured Butthole. I haven't had a chance to play these yet. The reason why I picked them up was I was kind of interested in them. I like South Park. I hadn't played The Stick of Truth yet, and they were offering The Stick of Truth as a pre-order bonus to The Fractured Butthole, where you purchase The Fractured Butthole on Steam and you get The Stick of Truth for free. So I couldn't pass that up. I just haven't gotten around to playing them yet. Anyways, that is it for this Gaming Pickups video. I will see you guys next time, probably next year. And so, yeah, see you then. Thanks for watching.